Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Y&R Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The upcoming week of November 17th to 21st on The Young and the Restless promises to shift Genoa City into full crisis mode as secrets slip, alliances wobble and several characters face defining moments they can no longer outrun. The energy in town is tense from the moment the week begins, with whispers circulating faster than the truth can catch up. Many residents have been walking on eggshells for weeks, trying to hold fragile plans together with good intentions and shaky lies. Now those walls are crumbling. The foundation of several relationships, romantic, familial and corporate, is ready to split open in ways that may permanently alter the landscape of the show. As fans know, November is usually a sweeps-heavy month packed with twists, and this time is no exception. The air in Genoa City almost feels electrically charged, as if every character knows they are one wrong move away from completely losing control of the narratives they've been desperately trying to maintain. One of the central storylines during this period revolves around Victor Newman's increasingly erratic behavior and the mounting concern surrounding his mental state. His family has spent weeks attempting to manage the fallout without going public or admitting just how fragile the situation truly is. But the pressure of keeping the Newman patriarch's condition under wraps escalates sharply. Nikki finds herself in a position she never wanted, protecting Victor while also questioning him, monitoring him, and preventing him from destroying the legacy he built. Her exhaustion is palpable, and she begins privately fearing that Victor's decline is accelerating faster than the family can realistically keep under control. Victoria, meanwhile, has been trying to take on more responsibility at Newman Enterprises, but the constant tug-of-war with Adam makes it nearly impossible for her to stabilize the company. As Victor lashes out unexpectedly, making decisions that range from reckless to potentially catastrophic, his children must band together. Even though unity is the one thing the Newmans rarely maintain for long, Adam, true to form, sees opportunity where others see danger. The week pushes him into sharp focus as he debates whether to step in and take the reins at Newman, claiming it's for the family's good. While everyone knows Adam rarely acts without a personal agenda, Chelsea steps back into his orbit, worried that he's slipping into old patterns that could leave him isolated once again. Their conversations become heated, emotional, and revealing. Adam wants redemption yet consistently makes choices that undermine his chances of achieving it. Despite hints of self-awareness, he remains compelled by ambition, and the chaos surrounding Victor only fuels his desire to prove himself. Nick, on the other hand, grows increasingly protective of their father and suspicious of Adam's intentions. A brother versus brother showdown feels imminent as Nick questions everything Adam does, convinced that he's preparing to exploit Victor's vulnerability. Their conflict spills over into tense family meetings, arguments in the Newman office corridors, and even personal jabs that reopen old wounds neither brother ever truly healed. Elsewhere in Genoa City, Kyle and Summer's world is quietly imploding beneath the surface. Their marriage has been a delicate dance for months, but the upcoming week forces them to confront issues they can no longer sidestep. Summer continues to mistrust Kyle's closeness to Audra, and while Kyle insists nothing inappropriate is happening, he cannot deny the complicated emotions Audra stirs in him. The situation becomes even messier when Audra strategically inserts herself into several business decisions that place her directly between Kyle and Summer. Summer senses Audra's influence and grows increasingly anxious that Kyle is slipping away emotionally, even if he hasn't crossed any physical lines. Their arguments move from small disagreements to full-blown confrontations as Summer demands transparency, and Kyle feels unfairly judged. He becomes defensive and Summer becomes emotional, creating a cycle they can't break. Fans will feel the tension rising steadily toward a breaking point. At the same time, things heat up dramatically in the Abbott household as Jack continues to battle internal and external threats to Jabot. The war with Tucker is far from over, and the week of November 17th to 21st brings new complications that catch Jack off guard. Ashley, still dealing with her own internal conflicts and distorted memories, becomes a wild card. Her shifting demeanor leaves both Jack and Tracy concerned she may be on the verge of an emotional unraveling. Tucker, however, interprets Ashley's vulnerability as an opening he can exploit. He tries to reinsert himself into her life with subtle manipulations, half-truths, and emotional pressure designed to disorient her further. Meanwhile, Diane tries to present herself as a stable force in the Abbott family, but her presence still generates occasional sparks of distrust among those who haven't fully forgiven her past. Jack attempts to keep the peace while simultaneously holding Jabot together, but the strain on him is visible and growing each day. Over at Chancellor Winters, the corporate chess game intensifies as Devon and Lily find themselves navigating a series of unexpected internal challenges. Devon struggles with the feeling that his personal life, particularly his complicated history with Amanda and rising tension with Abby, is bleeding into his professional decisions. Lily tries to refocus the company, pushing new initiatives forward and restraining the escalating conflict between Billy and Nate. But Billy's impulsive nature and Nate's ambition create the perfect storm. When they clash during a key meeting, the fallout sends shockwaves through the company. Jill's remote involvement adds an unpredictable element, as her directives over video calls are sharp, pointed, and pressure-filled. Something big is brewing internally, an unexpected shift in power or restructuring that threatens to destabilize the company from within. In the middle of all the corporate turmoil, Sharon finds herself drawn into a completely different kind of crisis. As she attempts to support both Chance and Mariah through difficult personal transitions, she inadvertently becomes entangled in a situation she never anticipated. Chance's recovery, both physical and emotional, from recent traumatic events leaves him at a crossroads. He begins to question his identity, his passion, and the path forward. His growing connection to Sharon adds another layer of complication to his confused emotional state. Sharon, always empathetic, tries to maintain boundaries, but it becomes increasingly clear that Chance sees her as an anchor he desperately needs. Their scenes this week have an emotional depth and slow-burn vulnerability that viewers will feel deeply, and a surprising moment late in the week may shift their dynamic in a direction neither expected. Meanwhile, Mariah and Tessa confront a major challenge involving Arya. Doctors present new concerns about their daughter's development, leading to difficult decisions that place enormous emotional strain on both mothers. Their scenes are tender, raw, and grounded in the real fears of parenthood. Mariah becomes anxious, researching every possible scenario, while Tessa tries to remain calm and supportive, even as her own fears quietly build. Their struggle isn't dramatic in the traditional soap sense. It's intimate and beautifully acted, giving viewers a heartfelt emotional storyline that provides contrast to the corporate chaos dominating other plots. Phyllis, always a force of nature, lights up the week with a storyline that mixes scheming, vulnerability, and unexpected humor. She continues plotting ways to regain the trust she damaged, especially with Daniel and Summer. Her efforts are earnest yet tinged with her usual flair for dramatics. A surprising opportunity arises mid-week that allows Phyllis to prove herself in a way that could shift her standing significantly. But as always, her habit of taking shortcuts threatens to backfire. A single choice she makes between November 18th and 19th may spark consequences she didn't anticipate, something that could either grant her redemption or plunge her back into chaos, depending on how she handles the fallout. Then there's the brewing situation involving Sally, Chloe, and their struggling business project. Financial pressures reach the breaking point, forcing Sally to consider a partnership offer she initially rejected. Chloe becomes increasingly nervous that Sally might revert to old patterns of impulsiveness, especially if Adam reappears at the wrong moment to sway her emotionally. Sally's journey this week centers on her fight for independence and her attempt to redefine her identity outside of romantic entanglements. But Genoa City rarely allows anyone to escape their past for long. A twist late in the week hints that Sally is about to be pulled back into a storyline she thought she'd left behind, setting the stage for future complications. By the end of the week, Genoa City is a powder keg ready to explode. Secrets sit on the edge of exposure, several characters find themselves in emotional tailspins, and alliances begin to shift in ways that will reshape the weeks ahead. The drama is layered, the pacing tight, and the stakes higher than they've been in months. Viewers should be prepared for shocking confessions, long-awaited confrontations, emotional breakdowns, and at least one storyline twist no one sees coming. The air in Genoa City grows thick with anticipation, a palpable tension that seems to seep from the very walls of the corporate towers and the opulent, yet often unhappy mansions. The week of November 17th promises to be a turning point, a period where carefully laid plans will unravel, long-buried secrets will strain to break free, and the emotional foundations of countless lives will be tested as if by earthquake. At the heart of the impending storm is the ever-shifting landscape of Newman Media, a battlefield where corporate ambition and personal vendettas have become inextricably linked. Victoria Newman, having wrested control with a cool, calculated ruthlessness that would make her father proud, now sits in the CEO's chair, but the throne is far from secure. She believes she has outmaneuvered her brother, Nick, and his unlikely ally Sharon, consolidating her power in a way she feels is unassailable. However, what Victoria fails to fully appreciate is the depth of the alliance she has fractured and the quiet, simmering resolve of those she has dismissed. Nick's disillusionment with the cutthroat world of the family business is profound, but his protective instincts, particularly where Sharon is involved, are a force of nature. He watches from the sidelines, his concern growing as he sees the toll the corporate war is taking on Sharon, not just professionally but on a deeply personal level. He knows that her connection to Adam, a man forever caught in the Newman family's gravitational pull, adds another volatile layer to an already dangerous situation. Sharon herself is a portrait of conflicted determination, having poured her heart and soul into this venture, believing in its potential for good, only to see it snatched away and twisted into another weapon in the Newman family arsenal. The fight for Newman Media is far from over. It is merely entering a new, more clandestine phase, one where the battles will be fought in shadowy corners and through whispered conversations, rather than in boardroom showdowns. Simultaneously, the fallout from Claire Grace's shocking revelation continues to send debilitating shockwaves through the Newman family's core, proving that some wounds once opened never truly heal. The young woman's claim to be the secret daughter of Cole Howard and Victoria Newman is a narrative bomb that has obliterated the family's understanding of its own history. Victoria, the epitome of controlled composure, finds her facade cracking under the weight of a past she thought was long buried. The mere mention of Eve, the ghost from that tragic chapter, is enough to send a visible tremor through her, forcing her to confront a grief and a guilt she has spent a lifetime suppressing. Cole's presence in town, once a source of nostalgic complication, has now become a central and deeply unsettling anchor to this crisis. His own quest for the truth is driven by a desperate need to understand, to find a piece of himself in this startling young woman who claims his blood. He and Victoria are thrust into an uneasy, emotionally charged partnership, forced to sift through the ashes of their shared history to verify Claire's story. Every interaction between them is laden with decades of pain, regret, and what-ifs, creating a poignant and painful dance around a daughter they never knew they lost. Meanwhile, Victor Newman, the patriarch who has always prided himself on controlling every variable, finds himself powerless in the face of this deeply personal and historical upheaval. His methods, intimidation, investigation, financial pressure, are useless against a claim that hinges on DNA and lost memories. He is forced to watch as his daughter's life is potentially upended, his jaw clenched in silent fury, a king who cannot command this particular storm to abate. This familial chaos creates a vacuum of power and attention, a space that Nate Hastings is poised to exploit with a shrewd and calculating eye. Having aligned himself firmly with Victoria's rising star, Nate sees the ongoing drama not as a distraction, but as an opportunity. With Victoria's focus fractured between the corporate front and the bombshell of a potential long-lost daughter, Nate skillfully positions himself to take on more responsibility, more authority within Newman Media's operations. He is the steady hand at the wheel while the captain is preoccupied with personal hurricanes, and he makes sure every decision, every successful maneuver, is noticed and appreciated. His ambition is a quiet, steady burn, far removed from the explosive theatrics of a Victor or an Adam, but it is no less potent. He offers Victoria a sounding board, a confidant who appears to have no other agenda than the success of her leadership, a stark contrast to the challenging perspectives of her brother and father. This calculated support is designed to weave him ever more tightly into the fabric of her trust, and by extension her power. However, Nate's maneuvers are not happening in a vacuum. Elena, watching from a distance with a heart that is still mending, begins to see the man she once loved in a new, and somewhat unsettling light. His relentless climb up the corporate ladder, his ease within the cutthroat Newman dynamic, raises questions about the core of his character, forcing her to reconcile the man she loved with the man he is rapidly becoming. Across town at the Grand Phoenix, The air is just as thick with unspoken tension, though of a decidedly different nature. Billy Abbott finds himself at a professional and personal crossroads, his work with Chelsea Lawson a constant, low-grade test of his resolve. Their partnership is a success, their chemistry undeniable, both in crafting compelling media campaigns and in the easy, flirtatious banter that fills their workspace. But every shared laugh, every moment of creative synergy, is shadowed by the ghost of their past, and the very living, breathing complication that is Chelsea's enduring connection to Adam Newman. Billy is trying with every fiber of his being to be a better man, a stable father, a reliable partner. He knows that his history is a minefield of impulsivity and poor choices, and the allure of Chelsea, a woman who represents a thrilling yet tumultuous chapter of his life, is a dangerous temptation. He wrestles with his feelings, trying to determine if this pull he feels is genuine, lasting affection, or merely the familiar thrill of a chaotic connection. Chelsea, for her part, is equally torn. She values Billy's friendship and the stability he represents in her life now. He is a link to a time before the darkness she endured, a testament to her recovery and resilience. Yet, her heart has always had a unique and complicated chamber reserved for Adam. His presence in her life, even at a distance, is a powerful gravitational force, a pull of shared history, profound understanding, and a love that has proven to be both destructive and indelible. She watches Billy's internal struggle, aware of it on an intuitive level, and fears that any move towards something more romantic could shatter the beautiful, fragile professional life they have built together, a life that has become her sanctuary. Meanwhile, the newlyweds, Daniel Romalotti and Lily Winters, are attempting to navigate the challenging waters of merging their lives while simultaneously running a demanding media conglomerate, Chancellor Winters. The bliss of their recent marriage is constantly tested by the immense pressures of the business, where every decision carries multi-million-dollar consequences, and the specter of corporate rivals like Newman Media is ever present. Lily, with her sharp business acumen and calm demeanor, is trying to hold the center, but the stress is taking a subtle toll. Daniel, the creative visionary, sometimes feels stifled by the corporate protocols and the constant need for strategic maneuvering. Their love is strong, a solid foundation built on years of friendship, but the external pressures are like a constant, dripping water, threatening to erode even the strongest stone over time. They find themselves having conversations about budgets and market share when they should be talking about their dreams for the future, their life as a couple. Small misunderstandings over business strategies can quickly escalate into tense, silent dinners, a quiet chasm opening up between them in their own home. They are both fiercely committed to making their marriage and their company work, but the week ahead will challenge their ability to separate the boardroom from the bedroom, forcing them to remember that they are partners in life first, and business partners second. In the shadows of all this high-stakes drama, the younger generation of Genoa City is carving out its own path, filled with its own unique blend of passion, idealism, and classic soap opera mischief. Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles, their connection having evolved from a strategic alliance into a genuinely compelling and unpredictable partnership, continue to be a wild card in the city's power dynamics. They are young, ambitious, and unencumbered by the heavy baggage of the previous generation, allowing them to make moves that are both bold and unexpected. They operate with a certain ruthless glee, seeing the corporate and personal battles of their elders as a playing field ripe for exploitation. Their conversations are a mix of sharp strategy and charged flirtation, a relationship built on mutual ambition, and a shared understanding of the game. Simultaneously, the romance between Johnny Abbott and Connor Newman continues to blossom, a sweet and genuine counterpoint to the cynicism that often pervades the city. Their scenes together are filled with the light, hopeful energy of first love, a reminder of the simple, uncomplicated happiness that can exist away from the corporate towers and scheming. However, given their last names, it is only a matter of time before the darkness and complexity of their families' legacies inevitably encroach upon their innocent world, a threat that looms on the horizon like a gathering storm cloud. As the days from November 17th to the 21st unfold, the narrative threads begin to tighten, pulling these disparate lives closer into a tangled web of consequence and revelation. A chance encounter at the Genoa City Athletic Club is never just a chance encounter. It is a moment where Victoria, reeling from a difficult conversation with Cole about Claire, might cross paths with a concerned Nick, whose protective instincts are on high alert after a worrying conversation with Sharon. The tension between them is a physical thing, a silent war of ideals and family loyalty.